They have the Renfe, right? That's the train, or the train that kind of goes above ground. And then they have the metro, which is the subway system. That's all underground. And the metro system is incredible. The train is too. But the metro, I think, is one of the, just a great public transport system and more advanced than anything I've seen in America anywhere. It just goes, stories and stories underground. Where it's crazy to, because if you track yourself, you get off a lot of times you're running to get to these crazy places, and you have to get off one train and run over here and go down these escalators, get on another train, and then go down. And if you track it in your head, like how many escalators you've gone down, and you realize we are really far underground, this thing is nuts. And there's just tons of trains everywhere underground, and just this elaborate maze of metros that are weaving throughout the city, and it's all it's just crazy to think about. There's this booming city on top of the land with cars and tons of people and all these buildings and stuff. And then underground, it goes, there's another city almost that goes all the way down. And there's just, people everywhere underground too, and the metro going everywhere. And that's something that is really cool about Spain. So they've got that subway everywhere. People never want to take the next train. So they always it comes in, and then there's this familiar sound that everybody knows, where it's just it has this successive line of beeps right before the door's about to close, and everybody knows what that sound means. And there'll be people on the top of the stairs that they hear that, oh no, and they just start booking it towards the train, because if you can hit the button on the outside the door, before it's been too long, the doors will open back up and you can get in before the train leaves. So that's always really funny to watch the herd of people, jogging to the train as it's leaving. But what was really cool is, you pass through all these towns on the way there. There's little stops along the way, and some of them are just a stop in what looks like the middle of nowhere, and you see it just stops there for 5 seconds, and anyone that wants to get off can get off. People get on, and it's just cool to be there. You stop there for a second, just kind of look around and be like, man, where are we? And there's people plowing their fields with oxen out there and stuff, and you're wow, what is going on here? And just very, very traditional, and everything's made out of stone, and it's super rainy up there, so everything's all mossy, and there's just this really cool farm culture that I've never experienced. That's nothing like anything I've ever seen here in America either. And it's just, I thought it was just beautiful, just really cool stuff, really cool old world traditional people that are just wow, this is it's awesome to see that people live like this and just love it. We had these little rental bikes that you could get. They're you buy a season pass, and they have these stations all over the city, so you just take your card and swipe it, and it lets you check out a bike, and then you can ride it wherever you need to go, and then you just have to check it in at another station around the town, and just plug it back in. And that was a really cool system. So it's a taxi for bikes. We started doing that, but the problem is the bikes are just left out in the rain all the time, and start to be just these really ghetto bikes that everybody uses, and you'd always get there and they'd be the last two bikes, you're oh great, these are the ones that nobody wanted. And so we'd get on these bikes, and a lot of times they wouldn't work super well, and we're running late for a lesson, just trying to go as fast as we can on these little ghetto bikes. And I remember one time we were running late for a lesson. My companion hops on his bike and takes off, and I hopped on mine. And I start trying to go. I was what is going on? And I look down, and the pedals on the bike, usually, you have bicycle pedals, kind of juxtaposition to each other so you can get some leverage, right? And for some reason, both of these pedals were at the bottom. I was what the heck? And so I'm there trying to bunny hop, to get this thing going. And just didn't work. So I ended up just having to run on the ground, and then you'd ride it down the hills and trying to keep up with my companion. And after a while, we're just like, this is ridiculous. Like, I think we're actually slower on these bikes than we are just walking. And so I think we resorted back to just walking.